to Kevin and Melissa.
My back hurts. Just like my lower back. It's like a never ending cramp, but in my back.
I want to help you. What can I do?
Is that not a thing?
Okay. Link sent.
Let me tell you something.
Tell us, Liz, tell us.
What do you want the title of this to be? Or you?
Listener Q&A.
Oh, that's peeking in. I can fix that.
I should get in the picture.
Please, please.
New Abby got glitter. How did that go? Team. How did it go?
I haven't been in a while.
Ducklet in my picture. New Abby got glitter. I'm with Team Facebook, Team Instagram. Child. I don't remember how it went at all, and I used to know every single word. I used to listen to that like it was an actual song. What was the name of the song?
Tell her, Kev.
She Ratchet? Not She Ratchet.
I think it was, right?
Was that from She Ratchet or the one you made after that?
No, I think it's from She Ratchet.
Don't flip in my picture.
I watched this in so long. Look how it's 8 years ago.
All right now. And today, this video is finna talk. I'm finna tell y'all about how ratchet girls.
What happened to them?
Doing just fine.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
She's been on Wild Now for like so many seasons.
She's had. She is doing the most. She ratchet.
They said, okay, shoulderless.
Oh, yeah. Punch her in her face. Ooh, she Two-Faced. Hey, with her sister. They- You do today. Girl, give it up.
Bullshit. I got my
Boo, Steph. Brand new. Plus tax. Give it up. Take a look. Girl, you think you're wrong. Boy,
Hey girl, you look good.
yeah, get it.
You said you're suing?
Yeah. Oh, but gee, what do she have on? This is a 4-minute situation.
I don't think he said that part you were singing.
What?
The part you were singing earlier, did he say it?
Oh, you Abby got glitter? Oh, what song is that then? Look here, this my picture. New Abby got glitter. Get the Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Team oh Team
Alright.
You over there with that shit. Why did this go viral? Like, why?
I ain't got time for this.
I'm too grown.
What? Why? Now with your shoes on. Ooh, what you wanna put your hair on? Oh, she's so bad. Maybe she look good.
He said, why would you get leopard skin tatted on you? What you think, this is a jungle? Ooh, yeah.
How's the live look?
Oh my God. I haven't seen that in a long time. That was quite enjoyable. Okay, let me see. Let me pay attention so I can look like, oh yeah.
So
It's
I
very
added
bright.
I added some backlight.
Let me see.
That's back here. Watch, I'll turn it off and I'll turn it back on.
Wait.
First of all, what is going on with my hair?
Wait.
Okay, turn it off.
Backlight off.
Look at my titties.
Will you stop?
Backlight off.
Wait, do it again?
I didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, I see it.
This adds like a hair light. Okay.
Oh, I see it.
Is it on?
Yeah. You look over here and kind of look at the top here.
Okay,
Turn it off again. Do you see it?
You'll see it right here
Mm-hmm.
and right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, snap, I moved it.
Oh, yeah.
You see it?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
That's
a,
good.
it's very faint. I love this.
Yes. Very much yes.
I'm almost wondering if I want it higher on us though.
The camera?
Yeah.
Say less. The camera? Say less. Up. Down. Or higher.
Can you zoom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, let me match that with the real cam.
Okay.
Match that with the real cam.
I don't. Oh, I did it the other way.
Go on, beef it up.
Ooh.
Get out of my way.
I got them food stamps. What's happening is I like low key need to wash my hair and it's just not doing what I want it to do. What are you watching?
Dennis Quaid is going off.
About what? Dennis Quaid from Twister?
I think that's Bill Pullman.
I think you're correct, actually.
See?
Wait, is this real or is he acting?
Real. Somebody from the set recorded it.
Oh, who knew he was this way?
Is this new or old? Oh, girl, this is from 2015.
I heard that he was a jerk that way.
Really?
Uh-huh. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is Nancy's response. Yeah, I'm out. Why I don't feel away?
I don't either.
You don't? Good.
They don't know what to do yet.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Girl, bye.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
All right. I guess I should leave this up so I can see the comments, or are you gonna put it up on yours?
It's easier on there, but if you need it for the ads, I can put it up on mine. You want to put up on mine?
Oh no, I got it up. I was pulling up the ads to see what they are. What did I just say I was gonna get?
The
The live.
I put lotion on one of my hands, not the other.
Not the other. How do you even do that?
Oh God. Get out of my way.
All right, Melissa, you are pulling this out. The sound is off.
Guys, we're using the phone audio today. We're missing a piece.
I lost it.
Please bear with us. It's phone audio today.
Listen,
Alright.
need hydration?
No, I'm alright.
Okay.
Lotion back right before we left. I need to take a picture for her. This is signed Blake's
Is it?
Amazon drop. Yeah. Can you see if I did take the tag off? I don't think I did.
You gonna take it back?
No.
You want to take it off?
Oh, I got scissors. Hold on. Okay. I'm just kidding.
I was like,
Well, I was like, already.
Oh, please.
I was like, yeah, I know how to catch things.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I need to take try to attempt to take a few photo. All right, ready? I have wall towel.
Ready.
Need some? I would like as well.
Maybe I left it in the car.
Water?
Yes, please.
Whoa.
No.
Thank you. This shirt, it doesn't iron though. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Josh, they're asking for your height. Well, I'm 5'7", so Josh is probably 5'5".
I was like, that's not right.
You're lying right in our faces.
I'm 5'6".
Absolutely. I'm gonna maintain my 5'7", so
You're like, I'm still 5'7".
I'm still 5'7".
Not 750.
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Love Hour Podcast. I am your host, Miss Kev on stage, and I am joined by my husband and co-host.
The Kev on stage.
And we had if this is your first time joining us, I need to make this like a pre-thing. You know when people have the like pre-recording situations? Like, hi, welcome to the Love Hour Podcast.
Oh,
with
yeah,
your
yeah,
host,
yeah.
Kevin and
Yeah.
Melissa. Like, I feel like I don't know why I did that like deep.
No, that made me realize what you were talking about.
your starts with my phone number, it's
Right.
but what was I saying?
Uh,
Oh yes, if it's your first time here, no. I was gonna say that. Hold on, let me go back. I want one of those, so I always remember to hit those points at the beginning of the podcast before going into it. Because sometimes I do like an introduction, and sometimes I don't.
What are the points that you need to hit?
You know, like welcome, thank you for joining us. This is who we are. This is what we do. Like, hey,
You be
girl.
saying that. Welcome to the Lower Podcast.
I know, but then sometimes I forget. Like most of the time I do it, like 8 out of 10 times I do it. But then there are like a few times where I'd be like, "Ooh, girl, you forgot to like welcome the people into your home." So, welcome to the Love Our Podcast. This is a podcast where we are Kevin and Melissa, and we talk about. And then introductions are always so weird. I always feel like I have to start over. I can't just like pick up where I left off.
You put a lot of thought into this.
Oh my God, I don't know why introductions are so weird. It reminds me when I was introducing. We have a friend or two friends, Shari and Sharice, and when we first moved out here, and we were at Austin's TV. And they were in, Sharice does like personal assisting and Shari does like PR stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we like totally know the Awesomeness TV people. I'll like totally introduce you and you know, like we can get you guys a job or whatever. And so we were like all here for it. And then we went upstairs to do the introduction and I was like, Shari and Sharice, what was the girl's name?
Shauna?
Shauna. Shari and Sharice, this is Shauna. Shauna, this is Shari and Sharice. Okay, go. Okay, now you guys go and do the talking.
Now you know each other.
Now you know each other. It was like so awkward. And they were like, Melissa, you are the worst. And like, I just really.
They didn't get the job, by the way.
No, because I didn't even be like, well, this is what they do. And like, I know you guys have open, like, I didn't even do like the true like handoff. It was just like.
Do the handoff.
Yeah, it was just like, hey girl, so y'all are my friends and y'all, okay, bye. Like it was so awkward, but that's also very in line with who I am. So anyway, welcome. We talk about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. We are a married couple of 16 years. And we are not relationship experts, but we do talk from our real life experiences. And the last few episodes have been really, really good.
Yes.
The last, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 episodes where we've talked about the big leap, and then I even talked about my personal evolution, so to speak, which I realize has been like a 10-year process. We talked about all of that. We got a lot of really great feedback. In fact, I was just telling Kevin, like, while I do receive emails all of the time, this last episode in particular.
You thought I was worth emailing?
Listen.
Hallelujah.
So many people emailed me, so many DMs that I received, so many reposts on just like different things that I said throughout the episode, which I'm like, I need to go back and like find those parts so I can repost them. But just so much of that resonated with a lot of people. And so of course what came from that were tons of questions. Even, I know Melanie and Seth, shout out to Anatomy of Marriage. Make sure you guys follow them. They've been guests on the podcast and they were on the conference as well. And I just adored them as a couple. But Melanie was like, listen, I am so proud of you. Like, help me do the things, girl. And I was like, girl, so listen, I'm kind of fumbling my way through it as well, but I'm gonna tell you what I know. So I sent her some information. But from that question, her question specifically texted me, and then all of the emails, all of the DMs, and just the questions that I've been receiving in general, I thought it would be a really great idea to do a listener Q&A.
Yes.
To answer some of the questions that people had and to kind of cap off that episode. So one of the questions that we received like the most was, please talk about the Sex Me Over campaign, because the last episode was all about my campaigns and they wanted to know about the Sex Me Over campaign. Do you want to add anything? I feel like I talked a lot.
No.
You're good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm learning to not talk all the time.
Since when?
This podcast today.
Right now at this moment. Are you just tired?
I'm always tired.
You are.
I realize I've been working out and hiking and lifting and eating right, which adds to my tired, but I'm pretty much always tired. I'm always tired. I be getting up at 6. I be getting plenty of rest, but then I just be sleepy. I'd be like, man, what if I was shooting a movie, but they wouldn't use the tape where like the cameras just be on you for the podcast. You can't even sneak a yawn.
Okay, this is quite literally an example of one of the things that I like admire most about you, is that your fear of yawning is that you would be cast in a movie. and would be yawning on set.
Yes.
The
Mhm.
fact that that's where your mind goes, my fear is like, what if I'm driving and I yawn and I close my eyes and then all of a sudden I'm in a car accident?
No.
No, of course not.
I'm gonna be on set with Martin Scorsese.
I just feel like it's such a difference it's like a fundamental example of the difference in our personalities and a fundamental concrete example of a kite and a string.
Yeah. My fear is that a big time director's gonna be like, come on, Kev, you have yawned through like 3 of my takes. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, J.J. Abrams. I just, it's my 14th hour on set, Mr. Abrams, and I got you this time. And you're like, what if I die in a car accident? Right.
No one else has a fear of, like, someone just said they have a fear of sneezing. I freak out when I sneeze or I yawn. Anytime I have to close my eyes and I'm driving, I'm always like, don't.
My
forcing
worst fear of
myself.
sneezing is sneezing while eating coochie, because then it would be like mess up the whole thing.
Mhm.
Like you're eating coochie, you're like, achoo, the whole thing's over now.
Yeah, because I mean, pH is a concern.
Yeah, even if you cover your mouth, you're like, you can't just go back in.
Right.
You can't go back in.
You can't.
It's gone.
It's unethical.
It's unethical. The moment's gone. It's cold. Sneezes are cold.
Now's a great time to hear from our sponsors. Wait, this is about beard hair.
Beard?
Beard hair.
Oh, beard
When it
hair.
comes to beard hair and face care products, Scotch Porter's got you covered. Oh, they just want us to read it all, so we'll just do that. It was the one that
Yep.
smelled, okay,
Really good.
yeah. When it comes to beard, hair, and face care products, Scotch Porter's got you covered. What I love about their products is that they're healthy, non-toxic, and they really make me keep face care on point. What? And what I love, Kev, you actually should be reading this
Okay.
because it's more of a man's brand, and you always should keep your phone down when you're reading ads because they're always looking at you.
Okay.
Postman's on the way.
No.
No,
Oh.
he's not even doing Postmates.
I thought it
I'm
was.
trying to do something for a sketch.
I thought it was Honey Kitchen or whatever it's called.
No. Hey man, when it comes to beard, hair, and face products, Scotch Porter's got you covered. What I love about their hair products is that they're healthy, non-toxic, and they really keep my face care on point.
And they really helped me keep my face hair. Okay, got it.
Did I not say that?
I don't know what you said, but it wasn't quite that.
Hey guys, when it comes to beard, hair, and face care products, Scotch Porter's got you covered. What I love the most about their products is that they're healthy, non-toxic, and they really help me keep my face care on point. Itchiness, dryness, shedding when it comes to your beard and hair and blemishes, bacteria, and clogged pores when it comes to your face. I mean, for the bearded gents out there, like me and Josh, who doesn't want a soft, thick, growing beard?
This
Scotch
left
Porter's
quick.
better for you products include ingredients such as kale protein, while willow bark, biotin, and pomegranate enzymes to cleanse, condition, moisturize, and promote growth. Need some grooming products to get your routines into swing? Scotch Porter's for you. Listen, nobody's gonna want to sit on your face if your beard is hard. They ain't sitting on no face when the beard is hard. If you want people to sit on your face, your wife, your lover, you need a soft beard. And I used to be trash with my face. I used to wash my face with
Irish.
like hand
Maybe
soap.
I shouldn't have said that.
Like regular soap you wash your hands and body with, I would use that on my face.
Like bar soap?
Like
Yes,
bar
bar
soap.
soap.
And Melissa was like, Kev, you gotta do better. And Scotch Porter was like, Kev, we got you. This morning, actually, first time ever.
Lather up.
Lathered up and washed my face. Smell.
It smells. They have a very clean, manly scent.
Very clean, manly. It's not like using her stuff.
It's not super perfumey.
Yeah, super for perfuming, it's not that. Right now, for a limited time, take $15 off your order of $45, excluding accessory. Visit scotchporter.com and use the code LOVE15
Love 15.
at checkout, and you won't be disappointed. Have her sit on your face with grace. Scotch Porter.
Okay, so
Say that?
I guess we're gonna see
Find out.
when we have a make good after this.
They said make it personal.
Sit on your face with grace is a great tagline, and I hope we can license it to them, at least for the duration of our show and our contract with them.
What's funny is that as you're talking about this, I guess it leads right into the Sex Me Over campaign, and it kind of directly ties to the the end of last episode as well.
Yeah.
So as part of
I knew people were gonna ask about this too.
about what?
Sex me over.
Oh, you did?
I figured people would like want to be better.
What do you feel like is some of the biggest points or takeaways?
Well, I feel like for you and me, really, the well, for you more.
Hello?
No, this is what
Someone
I mean.
said that they start saying hello in their real life because they listen to
Oh
other
yeah,
people.
Melissa,
I think it's
Shari, and
just-
Sharice.
Yeah.
When they
I
all
got
get
it from
together, it be hello, hello, hello.
Sharice commented on my Instagram and just said hello, and I was like, I know exactly the sentiment behind this.
When you're a purity movement church girl,
Uh-huh.
sex is very taboo.
Mhm.
Enjoying the fullness thereof, body pulsating orgasms, just feeling that in, doing stuff outside of the missionary position. The missionary is great for spreading the gospel.
It's of the Lord.
Yeah, but not necessarily for spreading them legs. You got reverse cowgirl, 69, back shots, spooning, chandelier freaks, washing machine, counters, butt stuff. But no, I
I was
think
like, is this going to be an exhaustive list?
No,
Or
no,
just going to keep going?
Kama Sutra, man.
Okay.
Sometimes you try some stuff and you realize your knees don't bend that far back. There's a lot of stuff in some books we've looked at. I realize I'm just not flexible like that. I'll tear my groin. But a lot of that is allowing yourself to be open to that.
Mhm.
One of the questions in Dear Kev, actually got it a couple of different times, is why are men uncomfortable with getting their nipples sucked
Yeah.
or licked, right? And I think a lot of times it's because we can't or don't feel safe saying, I like that.
Mhm.
This is reserved for women. This is not normal. A little gooch play. Whatever your thing is, if your mind can't get there, your body won't allow you.
Right.
Even if you want to do it,
Sure.
if you can't get your mind in line with your body, then it won't be a great experience for you. So for the Sex Me Over campaign, part of what I realized in you was like, okay, what do I like?
Yeah.
How much comfortable am I?
Uh-huh.
I know one thing that was really good for us was the red, yellow, green
Mhm.
list.
Yeah.
You know, and there was, there was like, hey, there's stuff I'm more comfortable with if we're not at home with the boys in the other room. Like, now that our house is a little bit bigger and farther away from them, you know what I'm saying? We might have some more options open to us than when we lived in Washington, and their room was like literally one paper thin
Yeah.
wall above, and they'd be busting in.
Yeah.
Shoot, I told the story before. There was one occasion my son had a Cars truck or toy that turned into an airplane.
Mhm.
Mid-stroke, he comes in the room, waddles over there. Daddy, can you turn it back to car? Do you think I stopped stroking?
I
One
love
hand. You
can't
remember this?
stand you. I just can't stand
One
you.
hand, mid-stroke, flipped it over. He don't know what's going on. I slowed my strokes down so he wouldn't know. Flipped it over, handed it back to him. He walked back out of the room.
This is an exaggeration.
This is the absolute truth. JoJo came in with his diaper full. I didn't change him. This is not my problem right now. It's the middle of the night. It ain't gonna hurt you. You need to go through some adversity. And he wanted me. I don't know why he woke up in the middle of the night to have his car turned back into a plane.
Anyways.
But he is. But the point that I'm getting to is that I keep saying "Make Me Over" because it's one of my favorite Tony songs. But the "Sex Me Over" campaign was more a renewing of the mind. That's Bible, renewing of the mind, like Apostle Wisepreach tried to do. He out here again. He said he don't want to be single no more. He put a new list out today. Kel sent it to me. She called him Apostle Megamind, and I was like,
That's funny.
hilarious. But anyway,
That's funny.
yeah, and I think Melissa has talked about this at length, and I think this is the big key. To remain a virgin until your wedding day required one mindset that was then useless to you on your wedding day.
Right.
But that mindset was how you framed sex.
Sure.
So you had to undo something that was both useful and valuable to you, but now was harmful.
Right.
So the first thing you had to do is have that mind change.
Yeah.
And then you got Goody Howard.
Well, that was years later. But
You couldn't have went straight from that to Goody Howard.
no, and actually, I want to even take it a step further back. If anyone finds themselves in like a similar situation as me, you grew up very churchy, and this could honestly, it can affect men and women. We did a conference one time, and the wife came up to me and was like, yo, you're talking to my husband. Like, he grew up and more identifies with your story and what you're talking about than I do. So it really can happen to both men and women. But one of the first things I actually had to do was relearn and then take control.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I would even just say like downloaded into me, I didn't choose. And I didn't research to verify.
Right.
You just you grow up in church, you accept that as truth, you accept what your parents tell you as truth, and you don't even realize how it's like shaping your viewpoints and your way of looking at life until you're in a situation and all of a sudden you realize you're triggered or you're thinking about things a certain way and it's not healthy. And that's not like, and I always want to be clear because sometimes I struggle finding the balance to ensure people understand that I don't blame the church for this. And thinking about, virginity or saving yourself for, it's not something that I actually think is a bad thing, okay? Like, that's not at all what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that oftentimes, specifically with God and the church, we often allow the ownership of sexuality to be owned by the world.
Right.
And church is then playing against that.
Absolutely.
What are you going to do?
Greg just sent a new ad. I just want to make sure that it's for today.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure we don't mess up and add something that's not, or miss out on something that's not there. So we did Scotch Porter,
That's the only thing.
Green Chef, Framebridge. Was Framebridge already in yours? Read Everything, BetterHelp.
Not BetterHelp.
BetterHelp's not in there?
No, it's Green Chef, Framebridge, and oh no, BetterHelp is there.
Was it in there earlier?
I don't feel like it was, because
Okay,
I
that must
literally
be what you
said
just
there was
added
only 3.
He must have just added BetterHelp.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was on a Google Doc, so you probably are good.
Okay. It's there now.
Okay, cool. All right.
So what relearning meant to me, number one, I read a book called The Good Girl's Guide to Great Sex, and it was the first book, and I've always said this, where, if you've digested or internalized sex to be this thing that is for your partner and not something for you, meaning you don't identify yourself as a sexual being, it becomes a chore, and I've talked about this many of times before. It becomes a chore.
Yeah.
And that was the first book that I read, and I haven't read it in a while, so this was like probably 12 years ago at least, that I read this book. But when I read it, it was the first book that I read that I felt empowered to be a sexual being. I felt empowered to own my sexuality, and it wasn't just something I was doing for my spouse. It wasn't just something I was doing for you. And that was the first book I ever felt that way after I was fit. I didn't feel chastised reading it, like I felt empowered, which is a completely different motivation in doing something.
Yep.
And so that was the first thing I did. So once I took ownership to control, then I was able to relearn and reframe things in my mind that allowed me to live in the freedom of sexuality in the way that God designed it to be, and not in the sin of sexuality that sometimes is what the church focuses on.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make
100%.
sure that made sense.
No, I get that. I feel like God designed sex to be for pleasure. If it were just simply for procreation, you wouldn't have pleasure sensors, And I think what changed for you is the ownership and the agency of
Absolutely. Agency became one of my legitimate favorite words during this time.
Yeah, and I feel like even as a man growing up in church, the thing that I took on was like, your wife is there to submit to you, to be there so you don't cheat on her, and she should be a willing participant.
Right.
It wasn't like, you make sure your wife is enjoying this. It wasn't like that. It was like, take care, provide, and when you're there to pump and dump, she'll be there, pumpable and dumpable. But that leads to color purple sex.
Yes.
And nobody wants, he died on top of me type of sex. And but sex is it's a dance, it's a motion, it's a communication. But if you're not comfortable with it, then it's pound town,
Right.
Nobody wants pound town. And also the other thing I wanted to say was, the way we grew up, our parents and then our figureheads in church had such a profound impact on how we thought. And as the Sex Me Over campaign happened, that was when we decided, it kind of happened along, around the same 10-year period that we moved here, like
Kind of led up to it.
yeah, it was like our marriage is going to be what we want it to be, not what this person says,
Right.
not what works for them. It was kind of like in the bedroom, but also in other ways. So it's definitely a development process for us as people, as husband and wife. And even now, I still feel like we're still letting some of those old thoughts,
For sure.
fall by the wayside, and deciding if if it's for you and I, like what's most important is what are you comfortable with?
Right.
What am I comfortable with? If you're not comfortable with it, and even if I want to do it, if you're not comfortable, we shouldn't do it. And that goes both ways. So it's still a process. You know what I mean? What was in the church was so embedded in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
Those thoughts don't just go away. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's definitely like a process. I was talking to Toby and Yvonne one time a couple weeks ago. Did I mention this on Love Hour before?
I think I remember. I don't know if you mentioned on Love Hour, but I definitely know this.
Okay, but basically the
I
point
just
was,
want to tell you, you don't even realize, like sometimes you flex and you be doing it on purpose, but like the flex of a group chat that involves, like, let's all be clear, Yvonne Orji from Insecure.
Oh, Emmy nominated?
Yes, the Emmy nominated
Emmy Ma.
actress.
Emmy Ma,
And how do you pronounce Toby's last name?
Wigwe.
Wigwe?
Tobe Chukudubem Wigwe.
Don't say that man's whole name.
That's his whole name.
Okay, but continue.
Told my boy though. But she was basically telling me and told, like, you should go back and say this on set. And he was like, no. And I was like, we are not 4 seasons in Yvonne Orji.
Right.
But the reason I brought that up is because in your sex, if you don't feel comfortable, you won't be saying something.
Right.
And that goes for me too. Sometimes you'd be like, I remember early in our marriage, I used to want to have sex and I wouldn't want to get rejected. So I would literally lay in the bed and be like, okay, I'm gonna count to 17, and then on 17, I'm gonna say something. And then when 17 will come, I'll be like, okay, 34. okay, for real, Kev, come on, start over. Okay, count to 11. And I would do that for like 30 minutes and then just fall asleep.
The interesting thing about that is the sadness that is a sense of rejection, and then also feeling your sense of rejection and my sense of not fulfilling this idea of what it means to be a wife sexually.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I almost got really sad thinking about that, but a lot of couples go through that.
Yeah.
When sex isn't about my pleasure and isn't about what I want and what I need, and it's solely focused on you.
Yes.
And that was the mind change that I had to go through, of learning that sexuality isn't something that is solely owned by my husband. Isn't something that's solely owned by you. This is something that God designed and created for me as well, and I'm deserving of that. And so I have to learn to accept that.
Yeah.
And it's a lifelong process, for me. But the hard part of that, and this is like my own personal definition of brainwashing, is being confronted with the truth and still holding on to or believing the lie.
Yep.
So even though I have taught myself better, even though I, know better in my mind because I've read books and had the conversations and blah, blah, I've done all of the things, I still struggle with that programming from years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes that tension is, okay, Melissa, you can do it. Okay, Melissa, you can, okay, you can do, and it's like, yeah, but also no, because that's not the right thing, and that's not good girl, and that's not this, and that's not that. And so that tension, I feel like, is the brainwashing, and really the tension is the work.
Yeah, because there's been times you've been like, I want to do something, but I cannot get out of my own head, and I'm just like stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I have had that feeling too. It's like the motion or the thing is right there, but you cannot get the words to come out of your mouth. And that's why I say it's a process, and I think you have to be willing to endure the process and the growth. And I feel like that's why we can be married 16 years, but we have all these different phases of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these different things that goes for. But that's also why I was telling Patrick and them on the Squadcast yesterday. He was talking about he doesn't want to get married and stuff. And I was telling him there's the sex that you feel with someone who you love and have a connection with and have history with, that's something that you don't feel with just wham bam thank you man. And that's why I feel like, like athletes, they just run through so many women, but it's like there's only so much you can do. Everybody can suck a peen, everybody can do this and that, but there's no other connection beyond the physical pleasure of it. Then you'll keep yearning for something more. And then you're Odell Beckham saying doodle on me, and you're just like, that's not enough either. Because you gotta have that long lasting connection. Monogamy. Okay, bye.
I was gonna say something, and then you said doodle on me, and child, that's when I became demonetized.
This is demonetized if you put sex me over in the title, so we might as well go all the way there.
That's true.
Yeah, like if you wanted to get peed on in the shower and you say, hey, this is my thing, are you okay with it? And you be like, pee on me, then a person be like, well, I don't feel comfortable peeing on you. Then that's a break for them.
Right.
That's also what I think was really helpful in our relationship.
Was
gas and brakes?
Oh,
or
yeah.
Accelerators and decelerators?
Accelerators, that was a huge, this whole episode is about to be about this, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
You can do the other listener questions next week. I told you Sex Me Over deserved its own episode.
I know,
but you said, no, Kevin, I'm going to do it.
I never
about
wanted
it.
to. I told you I always have struggle. Sure. With making sure that I have enough to produce a whole episode on just one topic. And so that's why I always worry about like doing a part 2 of something, because I'm always like, do I have enough to get there? And I don't want to beat a dead horse, so to speak. What was I about to say?
I said pee on you in the shower. You said, accelerators, decelerators.
Oh,
brakes.
yes. So the other huge revelation in the Sex Me Over campaign was definitely this idea of accelerators and brakes. And that is from Emily Nagoski. Amazing podcast episode. Definitely highly. Listen, I've been shooting my shot.
Yeah.
And been getting these people, because
You got gay.
I knew for sure Emily was going to be like, girl.
By the way, did you send Gay a picture of the Maserati?
I think I did.
Send him another one and say we're pulling up.
He doesn't want you to pull up during coronavirus.
That's a good point.
That man is of risk age. He is of the age
Fair
in
point.
which I don't want none of y'all out of my house.
That's a fair point.
That's probably why he didn't respond. But what I was gonna say is that
He thought that was a fake, like, oh, I'm gonna come over. And he don't be like,
Like,
give me your
yeah.
address, Gay. I'm pulling up. But
I wanted to attend his classes, but child,
I know he asking for everything.
I was like, sir,
Everything.
for me? You don't have like a friends and family discount? I'm confused.
For me?
For me? But the gas and accelerators, brakes and accelerators is a huge thing. And what that means, if you haven't listened to that episode, which I highly recommend you go back and listen to, with Emily Nagoski, or read the book, Come As You Are, I think is the name of it. She talks about being able to identify basically your turn-ons and your turn-offs.
Yes.
And one of the things that I realized, in this whole process, was that a huge break for me is the pressure of sex.
Mm-hmm.
It is an automatic, like, I cannot take the pressure. It just I get anxious, and it starts to become too much. I'll get too heady about it. Like, it just becomes a whole situation. And that's when, once I understand that, okay, how can I work through that? How can I ensure that the expectation doesn't turn into pressure, and it becomes into something that can be flirty or fun or exciting, and not something that's like this whole huge monumental situation.
Yeah.
Because anything, well, for some people, stress is an accelerator, and for some people, stress is a brake. And so for me, I'm interpreting that pressure as stress, and stress is a break for me. That is
Absolutely.
something that I need, it's a break.
So when you expressed that to me, I realized now, and let me clarify this. Not that everything that your partner says is something that you can fix.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I realized okay, so here's an example. I could take a flirty thing, but Melissa's like, ooh, hey.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I got plans for you later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that could be just a flirty moment,
Right.
which is what it is now, right? Maybe it actually means we have sex later, maybe it doesn't.
Sure.
But in the past, that was like, we are having sex, right?
Right.
So then now Melissa's like, see, every time I do a little
Right.
flirty thing, then it means you absolutely have. Then I
Right.
don't necessarily want to do it.
Right.
So now I've worked to just let those moments be what they are. If it leads to something else later in the
Sure.
day and that night, great. But not to be like, remember when you did that thing when the boys were gone
Right.
at like 4 and now you're tired? Like, because then you don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. And so I just saw this cycle of, okay, ooh, I want to have this like flirty moment that's just like a standalone, isolated moment that
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. You know, you respond in a way that's like, oh, okay, that means it's about to be on and popping. I see that you respond that way, so now I pull back.
You're like, oh, never mind.
Never, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want it because it just can't. And so part of it is understanding. Oftentimes, we just don't have the language. We haven't done the research. We haven't read the books. We
Yeah.
haven't talked to the therapist. We haven't done the things for us to understand what's going on with us internally so we can work to make that better. So then you feel victimized
Yes.
to your own way of thinking.
Absolutely. So someone in the comments who's watching on Patreon live, because Patreon gets to do that, Randall said, so basically releasing attachment to outcome.
Yes.
And that's what it was. And another thing that you said is like, when we had a great sexual experience, I was a pursuer and you were the, what was the opposite? Withdrawer?
Yeah, withdraw.
Okay. What I would do is be like, oh my God, that was a great thing. Can we do it again tonight?
Right.
You know, and then I realized that puts a pressure on
Absolutely.
you. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, it took all of me to give you that, for us to have that great experience. And what I'm thinking is like, oh, that's great, let's do it again.
Right.
But you now feel like it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and now I know you are looking for that today, which in turn makes me be like, I'm not gonna do that like that again because I don't want the pressure.
Absolutely.
So it just allows me to be like, let's let it be what it is
Right.
for that day, and not try to chase those moments, those highs. You know, sometimes you have a great sexual experience, sometimes you have a quickie or whatever, a hand job, you know, and just trying not to make everyone like the last one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Speaking of that, Kev was talking about quickies. Sometimes it's a great experience. Sometimes it can be the gamut. And the fact of the matter is, life happens, and you can't always, and you don't always have the time to prepare the meal of your dreams every single night.
No.
You just don't. And so you need help sometimes. And sometimes that involves quickies, and sometimes that involves Green Chef,
Green Chef is great for us, especially on Tuesdays.
especially on Tuesdays.
We film a lot, and you get home 4 o'clock after meetings. The last thing you want to do is then go to the grocery store
Right.
and pick out all these things, or actually find a recipe.
Find a recipe.
Then go to the grocery store, or order on Instacart, or order on Postmates. You know you don't want to be eating, you know, fast food, processed food all the time. So Green Chef allows us to have healthy, fresh, new foods, and they do most.
Don't say healthy.
Green Chef allows us to have great meals, and they take a lot of the work out of it.
Yes. They're easy, they're affordable, and they have meal plans for every kind of lifestyle. I typically buy the family meals, but I recently decided to buy keto meals because Kevin is on his
Yeah.
healthy kick again. And so the meal
This
that we
may
bought.
be the last time. This may be the last time, children. This may be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. I'm eating healthy, working out in my garage, hiking up to that hiking spot. I try to solve for you, but I don't have anything else.
It's fine. Okay, here we go. All right, so I started to, I typically buy the family meals, but I bought the keto box this time for Kevin specifically. It's like meal prepping for me, but it
Yeah.
allows him to have the healthy meals and we can eat what we need, and it just works out, okay? Like, it just works out. So we've had the balsamic herb chicken.
Mhm.
Kevin, did you enjoy it?
I did, man, but I really like the togashi shrimp stir fry
Tell me why.
because I love any meal that has eggs on top.
Oh, yeah.
I love it on a burger. I mean,
Yeah, you
obviously, I'm
do.
not trying to eat the Red Robin burger right now.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is like what I don't like about meal plans is eating the same thing over and over. I'm not trying to have chicken and broccoli 12 times in a week.
Uh-huh.
Like, just forget it. I
Yeah.
will go to Chick-fil-A. So with Green Chef, I have such a variety of meals that are great tasting and properly proportioned, and the heavy lifting is already done for me.
Uh-huh.
Makes it a lot easier on me because I be moving quick.
You do.
And that's
You
why
run
you
busy lives.
I be running busy lives. Green Chef makes me a lot easier.
Yeah. You didn't say healthy, nutritious, or fresh, right?
I
Greg,
said all those.
I stopped you when you said healthy.
I said healthy. I redid that so you can take that out.
Okay.
I definitely didn't say nutritious. I don't even use that word.
Okay. Did
And I
you
didn't say fresh either.
Okay, Greg, just please make
If
sure.
we say fresh, just drop the audio.
Okay. Go to greenchef.com/lovehour80.
Love Hour
and
80.
Code lovehour80 to get $80 off across 4 boxes,
Yeah.
including free shipping on your first box. Go to greenchef.com/lovehour80.
Love Hour 80.
Use code lovehour80 to get $80 across 4 boxes, including free shipping on your first box. Also want to tell you about FrameBridge. FrameBridge makes it easier and more affordable than ever to frame your favorite things without ever leaving the house. Add a gallery wall to your home office or send the perfect gift from art prints and diplomas to photos sitting on your phone. You can FrameBridge just about anything.
Yes, you can.
Here's how it works. Go to framebridge.com, upload your photo, which is really easy. Literally go to the website, you pick where you want the picture to come from, and you just upload it. It's really simple. Or they'll send you packaging to safely mail in your physical pieces if you want. Preview your item online in dozens of frame styles. They have black, they have gold, they have just all different choices. And you get recommendations from talented designers. The experts at FrameBridge will custom frame your item and deliver your finished piece directly to your door, ready to hang.
And let me tell you what, framing stuff is expensive and it is time consuming.
Yes, it is.
My whole office wall at home, we did before we knew about FrameBridge. First of all, stupid expensive.
Oh.
Like it would cost more for the frame than the art a lot.
It's so expensive.
And it would take like months. Josh framed some stuff when we bought this art. He was like, Kev, they said months.
Yeah.
So FrameBridge, it makes these, I like frame stuff.
Yeah.
It looks so much better. It preserves the picture or the art so much better. But the hassle, man, I just don't want to do it. But FrameBridge, man, it's so simple. Even a caveman could do it.
Their prices start at $39 and all shipping is free. Plus, my listeners get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when you use my code LOVE.
Love.
Get started today. Frame your photos and send someone the perfect gift, especially with the holidays coming around the corner. Go to framebridge.com. Use promo code LOVE to save an
Love.
additional 15% off your first order. Framebridge.com. Promo code LOVE. Again,
Love.
Framebridge.com. Promo code
Love.
LOVE.
A word that comes and codes.
I can't. Okay, anything else you wanted to add to the Sex Me Over? We're talking about
Butt
accelerators and
stuff.
brakes. So anyway, yeah, understanding your body, understanding accelerators, understanding what your brakes are. One of the things that I even found for me myself personally is that even when I think about the your Worth It campaign and all of that, it all adds to it. If you feel like a granny all day, it's hard to get your sex juices going.
Hard to get that a wop.
It's hard to get it going. Okay, like part of it is recognizing how you feel comes out sexually as well. So whether that's getting your hair done, whether that's wearing a certain type of underwear or
Shaving
no
that coochie
underwear,
or
whether
balls.
that's shaving, whether that's waxing, whether that's lasering,
I feel sexier when my balls are smooth.
like literally any number of things can help you just get yourself in the mood. And I do
Get acquainted with yourself. What do you like?
whatever.
What feels good to you?
Those things
Tell
are
your
things
partner.
that you do.
MapQuest for coochie. A little lower. Stop. Pulsate.
Okay, but listen,
Blow.
do those things first though.
This
This is my personal advice. Do those things first for you
What do you mean?
and not for your spouse.
Touch yourself for you? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
get acquainted with your body, not for you, not for your spouse. Because that's agency, that's
Ooh,
ownership.
That goes my skirt up under my hand.
Oh my. Yeah, I think a lot of times we do these things and we think we need, like, oh my God, my spouse is like expecting this of me. I need to do this for them. Well, that's already, your motivation's wrong already. Like you're
Mhm.
already going into this wrong.
Yeah.
So you need to learn your body and learn it for you.
You need, listen, if you're dating, you know, hey, I like Indian food, but I don't like spicy.
Yeah.
You need to have that same verbiage for your coochie. Hey, you know what, you're too heavy on the clit, I want you to go outer lane. It's like a playbook.
Right.
I want you to go soft on the outer lane. We're gonna run play action around the vulva. You know, I like to be on the, around the labia. Okay, don't go straight for it. You always going straight to it, ringing like a doorbell. You don't say hello. Go around the door, knock around it.
the demonstrations are always
You
too
just
much
ding,
for me.
ding, 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 ding. It's overstimulated. You sound like that doggone Kanye song on My Beautiful Twisted Privacy. Ding, ding, ding.
I'm not George Michael the song immediately. I have no idea what this song is.
Stop ringing the doorbell. I'm coming. I'm not gonna ever come. You keep ringing it like that. Go around the corner for a little while. See what's over there.
Yeah, literally.
But you also have to be able to like express that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise your partner's doing what they think feels good,
Yes.
what worked on someone else, or what they saw in a movie. If you don't say, that's why I be telling people, sex, people, the idea of being good at sex really means you can listen to your partner and do what they like.
100%.
If, heaven forbid, you get divorced from me,
Mhm.
that next person's not gonna immediately know what you like.
Right.
You will have to tell them.
Right.
It's like steak. Do you like it rare, medium well, well done? You, as much as we try to tell people about well done, that's not the best. Some people are like, I don't care.
They do.
I like well done.
Dry.
You know what I'm saying? That's not wow. That's dry.
It's not what? That's dry.
So anyway, I say all that to say that's why you know it's important to know what you like for yourself, and that's outside of sex. You know, how do you like to be entertained? What kind of movies do you like? How do you like spending time alone? That's another thing this pandemic has taught me. I don't know how to exactly phrase this, but the need for alone time without your spouse.
Oh, so important.
Before quarantine, that just kind of happened, right? Especially for us.
Yeah.
I was on tour, even when I was on, you get your nails done, your hair
Yeah.
done, you go to a homegirl's house. In quarantine, it was hard to say, I just want to be alone.
Right.
And that doesn't mean I don't love you. I just, like the week or earlier this week, you went to help Danny,
Oh yeah.
and I stayed home and played FIFA for like 4 hours.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I'm talking about. I was just, the boys didn't bother me. I didn't text you. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're okay. You went and hung out, and then you came back. Like, I think that you need that time without the guilt. You know what I'm saying? So
I think sometimes we think of marriage as an assimilation, and there still needs to be differentiation.
mhm.
These are all words that make sense.
Mm.
We think so much about this idea of becoming one, which is important. You know what I mean? Like, you do need to become one. But I also need to ensure that I don't lose me
Yep.
and solely take on
Yes.
you. You know what I mean? And
Because then you also resent me.
yes, and that goes with all aspects of our life, and that's why it's important to know and be able to stand firm in like who you are,
Yeah.
and what you like and what you don't like, and what, like, whatever those things are, what makes you tick, what makes you turn on, what makes you turn off. All of those things are so important to bring into a relationship. Otherwise, I'm expecting you to know me better than I know me. Well, that don't make no sense.
And how?
How?
How would a person know?
How would a person know?
And I think there's a certain amount of sexiness that can go into telling someone what you like. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be rigid. It doesn't have to be stop. Do this. It could be like, okay, that feels good. Okay, try something new. A little softer.
Yeah.
More, you know what I'm saying? Like, that can be part of the game. It doesn't have to be like, turn left in 300 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times this is me included, we feel like because we learn so much about sex from Hollywood, and they don't really do that in movies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You think, oh, you're just supposed to know, but real life isn't like that's not a healthy sexual experience. Just guessing.
No.
And also, what happens in life, just like your taste buds change, what you like in sex might change.
Oh, absolutely.
What you
And-
used to like, go ahead.
No,
No, you go.
I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, but yeah, I just think you have to be open to all of that change as it happens. That's kind of why you got to be in constant communication. Like iOS 14 just came out. It's a huge update. It's messing
My phone up.
messing your phone up, messing Josh's phone up. But what you have to do if you have an iPhone, we talk about this in Love Hours. It's still a great analogy. You have to take some time to get used to that
Mm-hmm.
and learn how does this work, how does that work, and then go from there. Yes, some better things.
I think the thing that we often do, and part of my own Sex Me Over campaign, is taking again that ownership and that agency back. And I remember even when I was reading the Come As You Are book by Emily Nagoski, I remember feeling so frustrated because I was like, I feel like I've been on this journey forever and I'm not quite sure that I'm making any progress.
Mhm.
And one of the things I said this morning on the book club, I was doing my makeup, which I always do my makeup, I have like 30 minutes. I'm always like, oh, let me hurry up, I gotta hurry up. And it's just funny. Anyways, it's only funny if you're in the book club and you know I'm always doing that. Anyways, I was talking about how the big leap is more than just the big leap in terms of your career. It also
Yes.
is a big leap in terms of like life and love and you know your money and your creativity and all of those things are also part of the big leap. And for some people, taking the actual leap is like a scary thing.
For sure.
And even with like again talking about the sex thing, that like just giving myself is still like, oh my god, I don't know. But I was explaining to them that when I ran track, you know, there's the runners.
Mhm.
And runners don't just stand in one spot and jump.
Right.
You have to run.
Yep.
And the importance of the running
Or you mean
is,
jumpers don't just stand up.
or jumpers, yeah, sorry. Jumpers don't just jump. You know, they have to actually run down the track or whatever in order to jump.
Mhm.
And the point that I'm making is that we often don't count those small steps because you don't understand the importance. You need those, like that running
Mhm.
start, because it gives you momentum. It plants you in the direction you need to go. So when you actually take the leap, you can go and like soar.
Yeah,
far. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's all very important.
That's good now.
And I don't think I often look back on the progress that I have made and count those steps that allow, because all I'm thinking of right now is like, girl, this has been 10 years. I'm 37, and I started the whole Sex Me Over, all of these campaigns around 26, 27 years old. That's a full solid, okay?
Right, but here, listen to this, me, Kevin. You started the way of thinking from birth. So you're undoing 27 years of time.
Sure.
It's not taking 27 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you have to undo that stuff that you know, because remember, I remember we've had so many great guests on here, but I want to say it was Melissa, Sex Positive Family.
Yeah.
She was talking about when you're changing a little girl's diaper and they, you know, their hands go down there, you're like, stop,
Yeah.
don't touch that. That is this is wrong. I should not, touch myself at all.
Mhm.
Like, that's before they even have words.
So true.
You've been popped or scolded,
Yeah.
like, don't touch
Absolutely.
don't let anybody else touch it, and neither do you.
Yeah.
So you don't even realize why this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So from 27 to 37, you made huge
Sure.
progress.
Yes.
Huge.
But sometimes it's hard to, even the other day, my memories on Facebook, my show up for yourself video,
Yeah.
and I'm like, girl, this was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're just now doing it. But all of those things, again, it's just the steps that allows you to like get to this moment today where you're actually able to leap.
And you also are a person that you take steps, and even when you're committed, it takes some time.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm going this way, I'm going this way. I'm going this way, I'm going this way. You'd be like, okay, let me think about this,
Slow moving.
research, do this. Okay, I feel comfortable about this. We're now in the process. Let me do this, that, and that. Be sure about, you know what I'm saying? So that's also just part of your personality.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when we are thinking about where we're going, we don't realize how far we've come.
Right. That's
And
the
I feel
point.
like you have come so far, so many times,
Thank you.
so many times.
Pop it. Bam, 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 bam.
Pull it. Suck it.
Oh, that's not the word.
Lick it.
Twist it.
Twist it. Oh, you licked it. High
That's it.
score, 4. Pop it. Pop, 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 pop,
Are
pop.
people
Pull
ever
it.
gonna know that?
Twist it. Smooth it.
Another, what are you doing?
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
Speaking of coming really far, we all need some help sometimes and a person to talk to. And listen, being brainwashed and taught one thing and trying to overcome those things is a
Mhm.
very difficult, hard process, and often something you cannot do alone. And that's why we want to tell you about BetterHelp. BetterHelp, that's HELP, is a service available for clients worldwide. You simply log in, you find your therapist, you choose the the
I might
boxes
need to
of
hit
what
them
you
up
want.
today.
BetterHelp for
Mhm.
who?
For me. My next therapy appointment with my therapist ain't till next Thursday.
Oh yeah, you need to.
And I got some things on my heart.
That's the great thing about it is that they're available. You can send them a text message. You can send them. They have like a little chat feature, and the person will respond to you. You can do video calls. You can do phone calls. Any way that fits your lifestyle, they have available for you. So therefore, therapy is not an excuse. It's not, or you can do it. Is what I'm trying to say.
I just think that as technology advances,
Sure.
we should not have to go and drive and sit in someone's
Exactly.
office. And you shouldn't be subject to as good of therapists that live in your area.
Yeah.
You might live in a remote part of the United States where you don't have access to the top quality therapists.
Right.
But with BetterHelp, the internet has closed that gap. And they're hiring therapists every day.
They're hiring therapists every single day because, we're in a world right now where people need help. They need someone to talk to. And do not feel bad about it.
No!
Get on here, find your person, sign up for therapy, get the help that you need, get the help that you deserve, and live the life that you deserve to live, and take the leap, child. This is a leap, too.
Listen, the best thing to come out of quarantine for me was a relationship with a good therapist.
Yes.
It has allowed me to navigate a lot of difficult situations and to address a lot of childhood trauma and stuff I didn't even realize was there, and it allowed me to live my best life. The big leap came from therapy.
Yes,
that
it
book
sure did.
was a recommendation from my therapist.
Visit betterhelp.com/lovehour. That's
Love Hour.
BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people are using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Special offer for our Love Hour listeners for 10% off your first month. Go to betterhelp.com/lovehour. Go today to start living
Love
a
Hour.
happier, healthier life today. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say on this Sex Me Over campaign. I
Okay.
feel like we covered it really well.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take the last 10 or 15 minutes to answer questions
Sure.
for anybody in
Live
the Patreon.
or live from Patreon?
Yeah, live from the Patreon. So we'll let you guys, if there was some questions that we didn't answer as far as the Sex Me Over campaign goes. Let me make sure I covered all of my notes.
This also means you can go back to these questions for another episode if you want.
Yeah.
Even if it's not.
Part 2.
Listen, I like doing part 2.
I really don't like doing part 2.
Part 2 point part 1 point
blew up.
dash 1.
Should I
2.
just answer these questions? Or do you want to take them live from the Patreon?
Well, let's see what the Patreon says. And if they don't have anything, we can take it from there.
Okay. Hey, Deb, Kev is glitching again? That's funny. Okay, here's a question from Bobby Bacon. I hope you don't mind me saying your screen name.
I think that's boo.
Booby Bacon. It is Booby Bacon. What do you think church leaders need to do better as far as being sex positive?
I'm of the mindset that isn't the church's responsibility. I think a lot of times our parents put everything on the church and force the church to do some things that were the parents' responsibility, and we blame the church when it wasn't really the church's responsibility to begin with. I feel like we were pseudo raised by the church when our parents could have said, "This is what I feel, what I think." You disagree?
I think I agree and disagree.
Okay.
Okay, so I do agree that parents as a whole need to do better educating their children on sex and like putting forth this idea of being sex positive. I also think that if the church is going to have a conversation about a whole entire like purity movement,
I get that part.
and we're gonna talk about abstinence and we're gonna like freak you out away from sex, then the conversation also needs to be had as well about
That's
beautiful
fair.
thing about sex.
You're saying if you're going to talk about sex in all these other ways, then you have to give the full picture,
Exactly.
or leave it to the parents.
Exactly. I guess that's
fair.
what I'm saying.
No, that's a good. That's a
That
good
it
point.
should just be a more balanced conversation. I think sex is often framed in the context of sin. It's often
Only.
framed in the context of something the world owns,
Yes.
and not something that God created, and not something that was designed by God.
Yeah.
And I think the church should take ownership of that back.
Yeah.
It is something that God
Well, I think
created.
the
It
part
is
of the
something
ownership-
that's beautiful.
The church says when you're married, do this. Everything is cool,
Yeah.
but there's people are waiting longer and longer to get married.
Yes.
And there's people who are divorced, and then it's just like, there ain't no advice for you.
Right.
The only advice is get married and stay married. But but that only covers a small group of people.
I often think that we, parents and the church, I think there's this weird, if we show the good, it's going to entice them to do it. And so I want to scare them away, so I only talk about the bad.
Yes.
And I think that's the balancing act that has to happen, again, both with parents and with the church, that there needs to be a balanced conversation about the beauty of sex, so you're not traumatized by this idea, but also truly just talk about, the consequences of it as well, if you do it early, or whatever, however you want to frame these conversations.
Yeah.
I think that needs to happen. And research actually shows the more open you are with these conversations, the less enticing it is.
Absolutely.
Because now you're educated. You're educated from a balanced perspective, not something that's so you're so afraid of doing that everything is shiny and glitter and gold. It's so enticing because I can't do it.
Yeah. I also think with alcohol in Italy, they let their kids drink wine with dinner at like 12, and they have a very low alcoholism rate, drunken rate, because it's not like
Right.
a
Even
thing.
in college, kids aren't having these drunken parties and doing all of the things because you've just been taught a balanced, responsible
Right.
approach to alcohol.
And part of the allure is it's forbidden.
Right.
So I want to go and do it because I shouldn't be able to do it. I haven't been able to do it, so now I'm going to.
Right.
But when you don't, when you talk about sex in its wholeness, the goodness, the bad, the consequences, the results, then it's like, okay, I actually have a clear picture. I can decide on my own. I don't think that's for me.
Absolutely.
Right now. We had a couple questions. One I saw a lot was, what do you do when your husband is the person who has the church mentality?
Okay, so I want to say whether it's a man or a woman, okay, that has this very church mentality, this is my experience. Don't own that for me. This is something that I have to decide, and that's why I said ownership and agency is so important, because it's easy for you, and you giving me the books to read, and you telling me to do this, and you telling me to try this, and you telling me that this is okay, and you all of your things. That ain't about me.
Right.
That's about you. And then you start feeling like, well, are you really trying to help me? Or are you trying to help me because it really benefits you?
Yep.
And if I decide to do this on my own, I know that it is for me.
Yes.
And that's why I said, even learning my body, I don't do this so I can then immediately be like, okay, Kev, so this is what, no. Let me just get comfortable with me for me, because
Yes.
that's healthy
Yes.
for me.
Yes.
Let me understand the way my body works and how to articulate and all these things. Let me do those things for me, because that makes me a healthy, whole individual. And that is something that is different and aside from him.
Yes.
So don't, it's just something maybe you give him this podcast shot and you just, hey, just listen to the last 15 minutes, okay? Maybe you don't do that either, because you're gonna be like, for real, this is what you want me to hear though? And how come I ain't interested? How about it? But it is something that it's something you have to go through and unlearn and relearn and go through that brainwashing process on your own. It is not something I feel, in my experience, I could be encouraged to do.
Right.
It is something I had to decide to do.
I agree with everything you said. We got a couple good ones in here. I saw. Oh, this one I kind of saw. What do you guys? How do you guys deal with friends, other Christians, talking to you or coming at you about your difference in thinking about sex, what you think is okay and not? Here's the simplest answer.
Wait, I understand the question. But
So there was one about masturbation. What if you guys feel like it's okay and somebody else doesn't? What if people think you guys
between
do
you and I, or just friends?
Between you and I. If
Okay.
other Christian couples don't agree with our
Oh, got it. Okay.
and here's the bottom line. We are not married to other Christian couples. We are married to each other. A lot of times the thing with the church, we be trying to have a homogenous thing. We all agree this is okay and this is not okay. All that matters is what Melissa and I think is okay. What we like, what we do with one another, what somebody else does not matter.
Yeah.
What y'all do with y'all marriage, if you want to put an ice chip in your butthole and you want your husband to put it in there and then pour cinnamon on it, Put ice in your butt.
It'll melt.
It'll melt.
Why would you then put cinnamon on it?
I don't know. A little taste. Cinnamon butt challenge.
Cinnamon is gross.
Cinnamon
by
is
itself.
gross by itself. Cinnamon
It's
toast crunch is good with
chunky.
sugar. But the point remains, that's y'all business. Tabitha Brown said, I would do this because that's my business. You don't have to answer to somebody else.
Right.
I don't care. I've had people hit me up and be like, hey, me and my sister watch, me and my wife watch your podcast and we disagree.
It's not working.
We disagree with what you, oh shoot, what happened? It's caught on a weird thing too.
Yeah.
Did it stop?
We're good.
Okay.
Okay.
I had people reach out and be like,
It did freeze for itself.
what you guys said, I don't agree with. Okay. And well, here's why. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not you're not my wife. I had a dude hit me up doing what you're saying, and I wouldn't tell my sons that. Well, you have your own sons.
Right.
Tell your sons what you want to tell your sons. I'll tell mine what I want to tell mine. I think when a lot of times Christians, the approval of the body is so important to us. I'm good though. I'm okay if you disagree with me. And I stand in my truth. Only person I need approval is my wife.
Mm-hmm.
If it's her body or my body. And you just stand in that. And like people listen, I realize Melissa and I are much more progressive than a lot of people. We are more progressive than we were years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If we went back, I say this all the time and it's still true. 23-year-old Cam and Melissa, if we watch this love, I would be like, these people are not saved.
Facts.
They talking about all type of stuff that we don't do, and that's people aren't saved. They're not going. So I get it. In so many ways, when Christians don't like what I do, I get it. Previous me wouldn't like me either. That's okay. I'm gonna still see you in heaven.
Right.
You can be mad. I don't know who pastor said this, but he said, and I took it to my own life. I have 2 children that I can't even raise the same. They not rewarded the same. They're not feared the same way. They don't like the same food. They don't have the same temperament. They're only related because they are related.
Sure.
They couldn't be more different. So it's impossible for all of God's children to have the same way of seeing the world. I'm sure God understands what Kevin is doing versus Susie and Sam, 2 different things.
Mm-hmm.
And both can be fun, So I just don't really care what people be thinking like that. And the more and more I grow into that, the more and more comfortable I am with my life. Because younger Christian Kev cared so much what everybody thought. And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
That was good. Next one.
You want to keep from here or you want to go with yours?
We can do, because we only probably got a few more minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't see another one. Yeah, it did freeze on everybody though.
So, but Tiki said we can't even agree on a denomination. How are we gonna agree about sex?
We can't agree how to baptize folks.
Do not try cinnamon and ice on your butt. You gonna have an enema.
Okay.
Somebody asked what age you guys talk to your kids about sex.
Now.
Sex positive families gave a great example for that. She said the same way you teach math at age appropriate times, you should talk about sex. When you are 2, it's 1 + 1 = 2. That should be that version of this is your body, this is your whole body, this is you know what I'm saying? As you age, we missed that exact thing, but we had the conversation with our kids, and it's a continual conversation. We didn't talk about consent the first time we talked to them about sex.
But I think honestly it does start with number one. I don't do, well, I did before, but I don't any longer, code names for body parts.
No.
Your body part is your body part, period. I know some people, a little girl might say vagina and they're like, that's so vulgar.
It's a scientific term.
Girl, if you go to the doctor, what they gonna say?
They ain't gonna say who the
They
hot.
gonna say cuckoo. Cut it out. That's the medical term.
Ooh.
It's not vulgar, okay? Period. That's it. Don't have me. But also teaching them about, and if something does go haywire, God forbid, you want your child to be able to say, they touch my vagina, okay?
Yeah.
That's what the words you want to come out of their But the other thing is teaching them about consent. That
Yeah.
is something you want them to teach them, and teaching them about. I told this story one time about I've even had conversations with the kids about sexism, and I didn't realize how much they understand things. But Joe was explaining to us he had a group project, and he was like, "I hate doing group projects, and I don't mean to be sexist, but." The boys don't want to do nothing, and the girls just talk so much, just talk too much, and we end up not doing anything. And I was like, I'm not sure if this is accurate or if this is sexism. But I'm also really proud that you understood
What sexism was?
what sexism was.
I'm using it on both of y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all talk a lot and y'all are ladies.
Right.
Now what's
Right.
sexism?
Right.
But of course,
So-
you just want to do all the work and turn it in, I'm sure.
No. So anyway, those are like, again, conversations that we legitimately have. Just one more quick story. When we were out of town for my birthday. That vlog hasn't come up, but it's coming now because none of us got COVID. I'm like, we're safe. But there was a little, our niece, we just went to her baby shower, was pregnant. And one of our friend's sons said to Tammy, Kayla's mom, "Why would you let your daughter get pregnant?" When I tell you this little boy was not ready for my answer,
What did you say?
I was like, first of all, Jalen, she's a fully grown woman. She has agency over her
Oh,
body, and
yeah,
that
I
has
remember
nothing to
that.
do with her mama.
He was not ready for Love Our Lips.
You listen, you are not ready. I understand you're 11, but let's have a conversation about a woman.
First of
A
all,
woman having
she got
agency
agency.
over her body, okay? She laid down and had sex with a man and got pregnant. Ain't got nothing to do with her mama. That ain't her mama's failure. That ain't a reflection of her mama. That has to do with her life, and her choices. He was
Black
like,
parents be mad for a second. They be like, "When your baby shower from there? We
listen.
gotta plan this for
But
you."
the point is, even teaching kids that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You have agency over your body. This is about your life. I tell the boys that all the time. I graduated.
Listen, if y'all fail out of school, ain't got nothing to do
I'm
with
done
me.
with
I
the
got a
degree.
college degree.
Okay.
You don't know how to
Sit
three
here.
times three.
And understand that the choices you make affect you and your life.
Yeah.
Okay? Because she's fully grown. She's done 13 already. Done. 2 times over. Okay? Done with that age. So these are choices that you make. And again, as parents, we go in and we want to own our kids. Again, that same thing. Let me help them with this. Let me do this with them. Let me do that. No. You get dressed. You can make your own lunch. You need to be responsible to get up. These are things, are life skills you teach your kids at a young age, so when they're adults, they don't marry someone, they're looking at you like you are a child.
I'm a child.
Zero responsibility, zero accountability, no initiative, because your mama did everything for you.
And a man, no, very much. That's why we make our kids get up themselves, cook themselves, as much as we can teach them. I remember when I went to school at UW, I was like, y'all parents,
Everything.
the amount of kids who didn't even know how to wash clothes post high school blew my mind.
Crazy.
We washed clothes. My mom, first of all, it wasn't even doggone transition. One day when I was in 5th grade, she was like, "I'm tired of washing my
Listen,
clothes.
the day is coming for these kids.
This is darks, they go in cold. These are mediums, they go in cold. These are lights, they go in hot, bleach. Fabric softener here, the little dryer sheets here. Fold your clothes when you get them out and put them away." And I was like 11, 10 or whatever, maybe 9, I guess. I don't know what you're in 5th grade. I don't even know what ages and stuff. Joe's what, 12?
Yeah.
In 7?
Yeah.
So 10. But that was the last time. And my mom never washed my clothes again. And I'm not saying your kids have to wash their clothes every time.
Sure.
By the time they leave their house from high school, they have never even done it once.
No, they should have.
That is preposterous.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Also, when you're poor, your parents ain't got time for all that.
No, which is why when you grow up, we are all over the place, but why when you grow up in a single parent home, you end up growing up faster because you have to.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, you have to.
You gotta learn to cook or you're gonna be hungry.
Right.
You
Anything else you wanted to add?
gotta pee.
I do too, actually.
I'm not alone.
No.
You are not. Sorry.
I'm peeing with you.
Thank you so much for watching today's
Remember,
12-hour
cinnamon,
episode.
ice up the butt,
Don't
cinnamon.
do.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is what they call it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on today's Love Hour episode. We will actually answer your questions and move on from the campaigns on the next episode. On my Instagram page, Love Hour Podcast Instagram page, I still have the post up with the questions, so you can add questions there. I already started the list, but if yours is really good, we'll include it. Until next episode, bye!
Cut.
Okay, I go to that now.
Cut.
Cut.
Okay, guys, I'm in the live. Time to set up. Here's the thing. Okay, goodbye.